Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Midnight Millennial podcast. A podcast that, of course, if you are a millennial, you will understand. And if you're not, well, maybe I can shine some light during the midnight. You know, one of the things that just always gets me is the failure to communicate. And I see it everywhere. You know, it isn't a matter of language per se, more along the lines of it being a generational gap. Not too long ago, of course, you know how everyone does. You get involved into comment sections, right? And this could be, of course, on a message board, in a Discord server, Reddit, of course. It could be an Instagram. You know, the flippancy of all these comment section styles. They're actually dialects if you would really look into the usage of language. And let me explain. There was a time period during the Trump administration, and even before, I guess you would want to go as far back possibly as during the Obama era presidencies, where the discourse involved always had to deal with the subtlety of my political views are less harmful and my ethics are higher than yours, and these various statistics or these various points of communication or information prove that where I stand or sit is a place that is higher than where you stand or sit. And this was the discourse. This was the level of communication on Facebook. And the problem that such a plain existence, the problem of it is the fact that not everyone normally speaks in that way. So now you would have people who've never composed an essay that was successful, it could have been just mediocre. You know, their English classes failed them or they failed them, whatever the case may be. That was the tonality, that was the vernacular used in and on Facebook, and it still exists today. Because there are not only now ways of speech on Facebook that you would utilize, but there are responses. You know, everyone wants to have the last word. And there are people who will just write on a Facebook page or comment. They'll try to get in their last mention, that last barb. And what will happen? They will hope that it pops up on your, on your notification. And the second they try to open to respond, what happens? It's a blank page. They can't go back, and the person was able to successfully block them in time and get their last word. It's all about that last word, isn't it? That's Facebook. Then you go to Instagram. And on Instagram, there's a level of scathing, but it's mostly just passive. It's it's very passive in comparison to Facebook. Someone will say what they wish, and that's all. They would move on. Normally on Instagram, no one's really trying to prove a point and back up their rationale. As that is highly in juxtaposition to Facebook, where sources are cited without even venerating them, right? Then you have TikTok. Wow. TikTok is a place of toxicity, of vindictiveness, character assassination, of pettiness. And there are tools for all these things. Of course, you have the replies. Of course, you have the stitching, doing the actual video reply. Heaven forbid that you are a business owner in any way. If you're a drop shipper, if you are a writer, if you're a nurse, if you own a brick and mortar, if you are involved in an income that relies relatively on you as a personality rather than just a cog in a machine like a Target cashier, goodness gracious, you could be doxxed. And your life could be ruined by some 15-year-old with a self-righteous complex. Because we all know at this point, Generation Z, they don't care. They don't care. They've adopted their grandparents' attitudes. The term or the phrase boomer to zoomer, or rather zoomer to boomer, it fits so well. And I've never thought about it until I really took some time to see how millennials are truly a gap generation. We're the ones who who still believed in that 9 to 5. We still believed in that career. We still believed. But Generation Z, Zennials, you guys, you're agnostic. There is no belief. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps you're right. What is there to believe in? If you could find a Chinese sweatshop to make some atrocious quality goods that you can ship out, some shirts that were pressed not by your hands, or if you find some powder company that could put a bunch of colors on palettes that you can sell as makeup, or some chemical company that you could try to find in some poor Asian country to mix in for juices, like Prime. We all know Prime is just a Gatorade in coconut water. And I question the actual quality of the coconut water. At this point, everything should be questioned as far as what we eat, but that's besides the point. No. Zoomers have just been calloused, and they depend on their association or familiarity, rather, with technology. They were truly a generation born with technology. And they use it to compose resumes, they use it to compose essays, they use it to solve their problems in school, of course. They use it for everything. And even in ways I don't know. Perhaps in writing lyrics to songs. They use it for, of course, copy, advertisements. Maybe that's to their benefit. But it speaks to the lack of association that they want to have with the actual world, with actual production, with sticking their necks out. And of course, this is all regarding TikTok. It's because of that I left TikTok probably 2-3 years ago, at the threat of being doxxed, realizing that it's not a place where there's any fruitful discussion. Of course, there are people who want to contribute something, and there are always people who are trying to be positive, but the reality is that once that red light comes on your phone, your DSLR camera, or whatever you use, I can't trust it. It can't be trusted. Who are you? Are you really who you say you are? So, TikTok, with its capacity to be nameless and shapeless, I rate it number 1 for its inability to produce actual communication and expression. So here you have the discourse on TikTok. But moving on, of course, you have message boards with moderators. Highly different, more controlled, right? More controlled on Reddit and more controlled. Why? For the trolls. You can have people who, whether you pay them or not, that's beyond my understanding, but they can make sure that a thread, page, that it's everybody who contributes to it follows the rules, that they add the appropriate flair, that they don't put in links that are besides the content point. Everything is focused and funneled. There are hints of corporate filtering that I noted on these platforms, but there is a place for you to say whatever you want. The problem with that, and with all these platforms, because I can extend it further with YouTube, but YouTube is just the types of comments on YouTube can either range from TikTok pettiness to Facebook aggression to Instagram apathy. Yeah, of course. All these things, right? But the bigger question with all these platforms and their various dialects, the bigger question is, who are you? I don't doubt that there are people with multiple accounts on all of these platforms. Why? It's that vindictiveness, correct? That ability for you to say what you want, that anonymity. You want the freedom. You want to control others, possibly gain attention. But of course, you have to change your tone with that anonymous voice. And of course, you can get found out as well. So now you created a Mr. Hyde for your Dr. Jekyll. Now you created another persona that you have to moderate. You must control, or else you'll be exposed. And no one wants to be exposed, do they? So what? Now you've mastered the technique of hiding how you speak, how you write. Maybe you've even created an internal image of this new person, this construct, this avatar. To defend you, to justify you. All for what? So you can say what you want to say with no repercussions. That's the time we're living in. There are risks. There are rewards. If you say something that resonates loud enough with that particular construction, semantics and syntax, well, congratulations. You might have created a following. And it could be a small thing, such as maybe a couple hundred, maybe even a couple thousand of people who like what you said, who thumbs up what you said. No better place and platform that I could find such rewards than Twitter. Of course, getting a Twitter follower, I'm not sure. But getting those retweets has a different savor, as opposed to a comment, as opposed to a like. No, that retweet. It's something else, isn't it? Because you can be quote retweeted. And you can also be, of course, retweeted. It's that MSG, that salt. It's that syrup and hot fudge. It's that two different flavors of Frosty that you get at Wendy's because you ask for a swirl. I say this because, man, I enjoyed that strawberry and chocolate Frosty I had at Wendy's earlier today. Delicious. Almost Neapolitan. Yeah, Twitter does have its rewards and its punishments. Of course, you're dealing with people who are highly opinionated on Twitter. Of course, there are the masked, the veiled, the anonymous accounts, but you are going to deal with someone who knows how they want to say something. They know the pros. And you will find yourself having to expel so much time and energy. Because if they have that blue check mark, naturally, not because they paid for it, but they have a large following, get prepared for the tsunami. Get prepared. So, these are all the dialects that I found regarding communication on these social media platforms. Why does it vex me so? As the Midnight Millennial, I guess it's because you can say that you want, or I wish for more. I wish for better. I wish that I could be like Superman. No mask. Take it as it comes. Of course there are villains, of course there is kryptonite. But it's taking it with your visage present. Of course, if you know any Superman lore, which I find to be amusing at every step of the way, apparently Superman uses his glasses and he can reflect an image and uses super speed constantly to blur his face. It's very amusing when you look at the lore aspect of Superman and how he has not been able to be recognized. It's very funny. It's very funny. But as the Midnight Millennial, I know that there is dawn. Or at least I hope there is a dawn. Because there has to be something that is opposite to a sunset. That whatever you put out, you would hope that something could be put in. You're hoping that that opinion that you have you're hoping that maybe someone else can have it too. And you try to express it as best as you can. Your best foot forward. You stand on that soapbox and with much trepidation, you put your hands to your mouth since you don't have the audience for a megaphone. You put your hands cupped around your mouth and you begin to speak out. It's not about your shared truth. It's not about your truth. It's just about you. Hey, I wrote a book. Hey, I'm going to California to try to make a way to be an actor. Hey, I just got starred in a role at my local theater troupe. I just started the gym today. Progress report, 15 days in. I'm taking some classes on how to use a Cricut machine so that I can make t-shirt designs. Come check out my Fiverr. I'm a digital artist doing commissions. I'm a cosplayer. You hope. But the massive swath of people walking by on a crowded city street don't lift their head. Some are engaged in conversation. Some have their earbuds in. Some purposely make it so that you have seen, that they have seen you. They choose to look away. We try to communicate, share. Is there anybody out there? Well, that is my clarion call into the void. This has been the Midnight Millennial.